I'm Chris Riddell. I'm the illustrator for Neil Gaiman's rather fantastic Sleeper in the Spindle. Neil didn't give me any visual direction at all. What he did was he sent me the story and allowed me then to inhabit the spaces, the visual spaces that, as an illustrator, I find absolutely compelling. So I was able to imagine what the tavern looked like. I was able to design dwarves that, spoke to me. And I think that is the mark of, I think, a great writer in a sense. Is a writer who can think of his illustrator and say, well, you come in and you do this, you handle this side of it. What I really like about Sleeper and Spindle is the cast list. Really intriguing, some really intriguing characters. The ones that caught my eye first were the Queen's attendants. They're 3 dwarves. Obviously, they've had great experience in the past of going on quests, so they're very useful characters to have around. And I started to think about how I wanted them to look. I knew I didn't want them to look traditional in that sort of Walt Disney sort of style. They were sort of heroic dwarves in that sense. What interested me a lot about the dwarves was their mining background. And so what I wanted to do was actually start out with something very simple, like what they were wearing on their heads. And I came up with this notion of them wearing sort of protective headgear. And then the next thing I started to think about was the way that they actually had quite interesting differences between them. And Neil very helpfully had mentioned their facial hair, which is a very useful thing. So one of the dwarves has a moustache, rather fine plaited moustache. So I thought, great, now he could be maybe the middle brother of, I think they're 3 brothers. Right, now the central character in Sleeper in the Spindle is the Queen. She, I think, is a great beauty, but I thought the thing that would really define the Queen visually would be her raven dark hair. What I felt working on Sleeper and Spindle was that Neil was giving me this permission, and I was very grateful to him for doing that. It's a part of, I think, the magic of collaboration is when sort of 2 imaginations come together, doing different things, but creating something extraordinary.